Hey everybody, Daniela here with Parenting L'Chaim, and today I'm going to talk about something a little specific to us mamas. So one of the things that I hear a lot is people's self-defenses that come up when we discuss behaviors with children. Whether it's that dreaded phone call from school or another parent knocking on the door to tell us that our child did something or whatever it is. And so I want to talk about the psychology behind this and why this is so difficult for us as mothers. So as moms, our children, there's nothing more personal, there's nothing more precious to us than our babies. And there's nothing that means more to us than the job that we do as moms, of being good moms and raising good children and teaching them good character traits and good qualities. And so when somebody comes and tells us your child is exhibiting A, B, and C, or your child is bullying, or your child is saying bad words, or your child, whatever the behavior is, we can throw in any behavior. Immediately, Mama Bear shows up. And Mama Bear shows up because we are trying to protect our own identity. Because someone telling me that my child did something bad immediately triggers that I'm a failure as a mom. That I have somehow failed, that I'm a bad mom, that I'm being judged, or people are looking badly at me. And oftentimes it's really not the case, because the best parents on the planet still have kids who make mistakes, because that's what childhood is. And so I want to talk about that concept of us not being able to accept the behaviors and the problems that our children are exhibiting. And oftentimes we go through a very big stage of denial. And it's one of the most common barriers to helping kids, actually. I saw it as a parenting coach. I saw it, I worked in mental health for many years, and as I would go into homes and I would see, wow, this child's exhibiting maybe a dangerous behavior or signs of depression, signs of low self-esteem. This child is exhibiting, very severe symptomology that concerns me. And when you try and talk to a parent, immediately the parent is defensive. Not my son, not my daughter. My daughter would never do such a thing. You're wrong. You're a liar. I've been told I'm not a professional. I've been told, I'm incorrect. Not my child. And is that coming from a bad place? Absolutely not. It's coming from self-preservation, because we love our children so much, and we are our children's biggest fan. And criticism of our children is something as moms that is very, very difficult for us to take, because our babies are our world and they're reflections of us. So I want to talk about how we can separate that as a mom, because when someone is coming to us, in most cases, they're not coming to hurt our feelings. They're not coming to damage us or to judge our child. Yes, the occasion does happen, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, when someone has been brave enough to come and say, your child, I'm really concerned, we want to make sure that we're able to be objective and react in the same manner we would react if this was someone else's child. I as a social worker and working in mental health for so many years, when one of my children was having a mental health issue and I had to address it, it was very, very painful. And I remember I sat down, and the therapist I was talking to actually sat with me, and she says, look, I need you to pull your Mama Bear lenses off, and I need you to put your social worker glasses back on, and I need you to address this behavior just like you would any other kid on your caseload. And it wasn't until she said that I realized that I wasn't able to do that with my own children, that it was very personal, because my child having something wrong, right, means I've failed, because I want perfect children and I want healthy children, and I have instilled everything I could possibly instill in them, and so that means I'm being bad or I'm doing something wrong, and that is not accurate. So I want to really encourage us as moms in particular. For some reasons, dads are much better at being objective about this than us moms, and it is a natural instinct for us to think our children are the cutest and the prettiest and the smartest and the loveliest, and they are. Don't get me wrong, all of our children are. But when there is a major behavior We need to pull our mama bear lenses off, and we need to get real, and we need to be able to face this in the same manner that we would face if it was a child that wasn't impacting our own self-esteem or our own value of ourself or our own worth as a mom. Because our child having a learning disability, our child having a behavior disorder, our child struggling with something and showing, behaviors is not always a reflection of us. Now, it can be, don't get me wrong, and I think the biggest knee-jerk reaction is most parents feel judged when someone says, hey, your child's exhibiting A, B, and C. Immediately, they're like, you're judging me, you think I'm a bad parent, you think I don't discipline, you don't think I taught my child respect, but whatever it is, we immediately go to a place where we're no longer listening as moms, and we do our children a huge disservice. I cannot count how many times I have seen mental health professionals or educators come to parents and try and discuss a very, very serious issue that's impeding on a child's education or a child's life, and they are faced with being yelled at, screamed at, complete denial, rage. And so we want to make sure that we do not take personal our children's behaviors, because when we do that and we deny and we pretend it isn't real, we're never able to actually help our child. And that is where, as a mom, we actually fail. I failed if I choose to actually, if I choose to ignore that my child has a problem, if I choose that adults that are coming to me telling my child's exhibiting these behaviors and I call adults liars or I defend my child. These are very big things, and it's a very fine line between standing up for our children if they're being mistreated and actually acknowledging that there's something going on with our child that needs to be addressed. So we need to make sure that we are able to be objective, we're able to look at the differences, and we're able to really, really help our kids. We do them a very big disservice, and I've seen it long term when a child does something wrong, and the teacher, say, calls, and says, hey, your child stole something. Has V'Shalom, a child stole something. And the parent goes in and they talk to the child, and the child says, I did not steal that. I did not. And that parent immediately defends their child and ignores the fact that their child might have done something wrong. We are now setting our child up that it's okay to steal, that it's okay to mistreat adults, that it's okay to lie. And actually what we're doing is we are reinforcing the very behavior that the person that came to us is trying to help us get rid of. So I really encourage to listen objectively to educators, listen objectively to mental health professionals, and don't always think we know our children better. Our children do a lot of things we don't know in front of us. I had the experience of working at a school, and I was able to see the film of my own son in a classroom. And so it was very interesting to be able to see students interacting and the way they acted or things that they did, because, there are things you'd be like, oh, not my child, and you really don't know. You really don't. And so I really encourage us to pull our mama bear lenses off and address things objectively, and to not take them as a personal attack. It does not mean you're a failure as a mom. It does not mean that you're not a good mom. It does not mean that your child is not a good child because they're having a behavior. It means that there's something that needs to get addressed so that your child can move on and have a healthy life. I hope this is helpful and it speaks to a few people. I have been guilty of this many, many times when someone comes to me and says, I'm really, really concerned about this or this, and immediately I go into mama bear. They think I'm a bad mom, they think I'm neglectful, they think I'm this, and immediately we are no longer listening. We're not listening because all we're doing is we're running the fears in our mind that we're not a good enough mom. And so we have to start, number one, having faith in ourselves and our motherhood and the amazing, amazing, amazing skills that have been instilled in us to be able to be the best moms. But to be the best mom, we also have to be honest, and we have to be objective, and we have to be able to look at our children's actions separate from ourselves. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.